Hey everyone, welcome in. Thank you for joining me. My name is Marlene. I'm with A Room to Bloom. Wanted to bring forth a message today. Just kind of moving through some things myself, which is kind of interesting. I just realized that I actually said that in the video that I made yesterday. I'm going to just adjust the volume here a little. And I kind of was moving some cards around, and so I ran across a deck that I have not used in a while. It is called the Healing Energy Oracle deck, and I want to bring forth some messages. I'm going to show you the front of the deck. Very, very beautiful. All the images here are really beautiful works of light and color combinations. Okay, so the first card that we have is Inner Beauty. Okay, so here it is. We have blue. Blue speaks of the throat chakra. It says, I open the eyes of my heart and I direct my gaze to the light within every being. Personality and physical appearance are in the image of man. Beauty and goodness are in the image of God. So think about any time either you have felt that someone was looking at your physical vessel and potentially judging you or whatever the case was, or any time that you have done that in reverse, right? But we are being called to see the light in each person, right? And go beyond the physical appearance, beyond the personality, right? Because our personalities, we get wounded, and so we build up our ego, which then can shift or work with our personality, right? But those are, again, in the image of man, but beauty and goodness are in the image of God. And so we're being called to feel, right? I love this, open the eyes of our heart, right? To see people with our heart instead of with our visual eyes, if you will. Okay, what else do we have here? We have guidance, another color of blue. In times of uncertainty, I ask God to guide me to the light in my being. I'm directed to doors that will open inner freedom to me and step forward in trust. I release my fate to God, and my faith is rewarded. So this is true surrender, right? In times of uncertainty, I ask God to guide me to the light in my being. So when we are feeling lost, right? When we are feeling confused, when we are feeling overwhelmed, we are being guided to ask for guidance, right? So that we can find that within ourselves. Okay, let's shuffle again here. Okay, the next one is being true. I am true to myself and others. I remove the mask and I stop creating illusions. I have confidence in who I am and I reveal the good in me. I do not need to hide or prove anything. I replace shame with the power of love and truth, right? Being true to ourselves. Okay, so as I record this, today happens to be a Saturday. So whenever you watch this, if you just think about today, was there any moments of time that you felt like you were putting a mask on? So what's coming to me is you get a phone call to go with someone somewhere, and you're good with that feels authentic to your soul. But maybe while you're with them, they say, hey, do you mind if we whatever, and whatever that is, and your soul, it really isn't resonating with you, but rather than making waves, rather than being true to yourself, you just go with it, right? And so what happens at that time, it's almost as if you begin to put this mask on that maybe you weren't wearing because you felt very comfortable, very much at yourself, being yourself. But wherever it is, whatever you're going to do or wherever you're going to go, all of a sudden you feel like, oh, got to put the mask on so you can't be your most authentic self. So this is the call to be true to you, to be really aware of when have you been putting on a mask, to appease others, if you will, and when are you at your very most true self, right? And so becoming aware of it. Again, I remove my mask and I stop creating illusions. I have confidence in who I am. And I reveal the good in me. I do not need to hide or prove anything. I replace shame with the power of love and truth. Okay, so let's take that example a little further. So maybe there isn't something that really resonates with you, but you go along to get along. And what if wherever it was that you were going, you've always felt like you had to put a mask on so that somebody didn't see your truest, most authentic self. But this time you went and just were who you were. And surprisingly, you found out that you never needed that mask, that whoever you were with, maybe you thought that they were going to judge you. Maybe you thought that whatever, and where do these thoughts come from? Based on past experiences. It may not have ever been people, these people that you're going possibly to visit or a place that you're going to, may not have ever been them. It's just something in your mind you thought that they would because of whatever. But surprisingly, you were delighted that they accepted you as you truly were, right? Okay. I'm going to split the deck for a card I'm being called to, one step at a time. It says, I see the mountain ahead and I dedicate myself to taking one small step at a time. I make progress by staying focused on the present moment, the current task. Thus, I regain my ease of living. What have you been moving through that has potentially felt a little bit insurmountable, right? Or that you have been making bigger because you're looking really far out there, and that out there feels very overwhelming. But with each step, it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing right now, and being present in that step, right? And even though I know that stuff is there, right, or it's self-perceived that it's there, I'm just going to take this next step and see how the universe responds to me as I take this step. So it is like a dance with the universe. What is going on? Being present in each moment. Um, just taking one step. So again, it's rest, do not quit. You don't have to throw in the towel. It's about saying, okay, I recognize that there's other things, that will come your way, right, in each moment. But right now, this is where you are. This is what you're working on. This is what you're doing or possibly not doing, right? Okay, the next one we have is unconditional love. And that just feels so hand in hand with this right here, because it is also about loving ourselves unconditionally through our journey, right? So just, I'm not even reading the card yet. Inner beauty. Unconditionally loving people, seeing their inner beauty, their inner light. Guidance. Again, having unconditional love for yourself when you feel like you're not finding your way, asking for guidance. Have unconditional love for yourself. Unconditional love for yourself, being true to who you truly are, and taking one step at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. Imagine if you were taking care of another person, and And you can see clearly that this other person is worrying about stuff that's way out there, and you might just simply be trying to help them uh, with a very basic task in that moment. It's like, just be here, don't worry about that stuff out there. So again, unconditional love. My heart is free from resentment towards others. I open my eyes, the eyes of my heart. So we have that here twice. And discover the light in the beauty in every being. I am aware that suffering can cause distress and hurt in people. I see the pure child in everyone, and I practice forgiveness. So, what a beautiful message. Look at that beautiful, the tone is like a teal, aqua teal color. And with that heart, it's like this message is bookmarked, right? On each end, we have opening the eyes of my heart. So, this would be the assignment, if you will, to catch yourself, to become self-aware of when you are seeing things with the eyes, your visual eyes, right? Instead of the eyes of your heart. Any being aware of any time that your ego is rising up, and say, again, uh, why does ego come up? Oftentimes because fear. We have fear. So if there's something you're experiencing, asking yourself, am I about it, slowing down with your responses? Am I about to respond in fear or in love? Right? Allowing everyone to be on their journey where they are truly at, because each of us are really truly taking one step at a time. Okay, on the bottom of this deck, we have inner strength. The color here is like an orange, red, amber. It says, nothing moves me from my path to the light because I have complete confidence in myself. I realize my innate qualities and my abilities, and I know that with God, I can do anything. All the power I need is within me, right? It's I have inner strength. Inner strength resides within me. Okay? So I'm going to go to another deck here called Messages from the Ancestors. Let's see what comes up here. Probably use the book on these. We'll see. Under Inner Beauty, what do we have here that you'd like to bring forth? We have Rhythm Maker. Yeah, so kind of marching to the beat of your own drum, your inner beauty, and seeing other people's inner beauty, even when they are marching to a beat of their drum, not your drum, right? Okay, under guidance, we have water. It speaks about flow, again, where it says, in times of uncertainty, I ask God to guide me to the light within my being. I am directed to doors that will open inner freedom to me, and I step forward in trust, right? Forward in trust. I flow, right? I flow like water, and I release my fate to God, and my faith is rewarded. I move with the flow. I don't have to fight against the current. I can ask for guidance too. Under being true to myself, I have communicator. Again, messages. You have ancestors that are looking to communicate through you, and they will communicate also through animals. They will send in your path, right? So yeah, I'm sorry, I have church bells going right now. So you may be one who communicates with animals, right? And that is being true to yourself, right? And others. So others may not understand it, but when they realize that, have you ever had someone say, like, yeah, they just really have a way with something? They might have a way with animals, they might have a way with children or seniors or people, of whatever different groups that someone's spirit resonates with in order to help them, so they're able to communicate effectively because they are receiving messages or downloads. Okay, under one step at a time, we have musician sound. Okay, I'm actually going to read this one because let me take the next card and then I'm going to read this one. This card has never come up for me. And I actually find it, yeah, really interesting. Okay, under the unconditional love, it says free spirit. My heart is free from resentment towards others. Free spirit, being a rebel, right? I open the eyes of my heart and I discover the light and beauty in every being. I am aware that suffering can cause distress and hurt in people. Okay, distress and hurt. When somebody is rebelling against something that may seem simple to many other people, they may have distress and hurt, right? They may be a free spirit, and not everyone understands that. But this is saying, I have unconditional love for those that have a free spirit. Because, what is the gift that they have? They aren't living so rigidly according to society's programming, right? Saying we should do this, we need to be this way, or whatever. So let's go to the musician card. Okay, oh, and let's see here. So it says the origin of music likely occurred when our prehistoric forebears listened to naturally occurring sounds and rhythms and made attempts to mimic them. They undoubtedly incorporated patterns and repetition and varied the pitch, quality, and volume to produce simple songs and rhythm. The first musical instrument was in all likelihood the human voice, which can create a vast range of sounds, including humming, singing, whistling, as well as clicking, coughing, and yawning. As long as we humans could hear, there has been a continuous array of sounds that resonate in our bodies, our minds, and our souls, urging us as listeners to recreate and expand on what was heard. From these primal beginnings, the creation of melodic and rhythmic songs evolved from simple to complex, imprinted with the diversity and influence of the culture in which they originated. The vast array of musical choices available today provides evidence in how music is an integral part of the human experience, right? So, one step at a time, sound can help with that. And I find it interesting that she's holding the drum, and the drum, oftentimes you'll see people like have a drum circle. It's like the heartbeat, right? Like the sounds that a baby would hear in the womb. And so, if you're moving through something, sound can help you to break up uh, patterns, to break through areas where you may feel stuck. Okay, I'm going to go to the rebel here. The rebel ancestor challenges the status quo. It's not about rebelling against something, but rather making a stand for what they believe in and speaking about and acting on these beliefs without the need for the other's agreement or approval. The rebel is a nonconformist who is willing to be assertive and make a stand for their beliefs when necessary, refusing to live within the usual structure of societal norms. There are many examples of rebels throughout history: Susan B. Anthony, John Lennon, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, Joan of Arc, Rosa Parks, Alexander Hamilton. Some rebels may exert such an influence that they change the society in which they live. I'm full of goosebumps. While others may live their truth more quietly, yet still boldly push the boundaries of what is considered normal. It says you're finally finding yourself you're finding yourself imprisoned in rituals and routines that no longer carry the same meaning that they once did. You Yet you have solidly stayed the course for fear of others' disapproval or criticism. And that's interesting because this falls in like the blockage position, right? You're now questioning the conditioning that has been imposed upon you through parental, familial, and society norms and feeling the urge to break out of these patterns. It is time to do so. Quiet the inner critic and release the judgments you carry about yourself. I love that this falls under unconditional love, right? Speak your truth without blame, shame, or judgment, and allow others to have their reactions to your doing so. Express yourself through your actions, your clothing, and your art. And be willing to take some risks in all these ways, and you will experience a newfound freedom that does no harm to anyone or anything. It is your life. Live it, right? So I think that that's really beautiful. I mean, it's not that if six, five, say seven people were sitting in a room, and five of them just just kind of kept going along with the conditioning, right? The family, the societal, this type of thing. They're just like one way. They might be raising an eyebrow at someone who's a rebel, but then there's this one person who's in between there who has one unconditional love. So they're not judging that person, but they are observing. They're observing the five and they're observing the one. And they're observing themselves in where they are in the whole thing, right? And sometimes they become a buffer or feel like they have to be a buffer to smooth things over, to make it easier for this other person to be in this group who, the rebel may have bigger ideas, right? May carry a light or an idea that others are not catching on to yet. But this one person is seeing something there. And what are they doing? They're seeing with the eyes of their heart. They're not seeing with their eyes, or they're not living through the ego, but they're observing all of it, right? So very interesting. And asking yourself how many times you've ever been in a situation, and what role did you play in that? Were you the rebel? Were you the one who was trying to help smooth things over to get other people to see, maybe to or were you one of the five that just kind of went, well, this is the way it should be, this is the way it's always been, this is the way it is, right? Yeah, so okay, which I actually kind of find interesting because I'm going to go to the next deck, which is called the Starseed Oracle. And we're going to go ahead and move to this. Let's see what messages want to come out here. Called Soul Gifts and Training. It is time to step up, right? So this rebel may feel called, right, to speak out on certain things that others are not saying, right? To be a voice for the voiceless. It is time to step up and to use the soul gifts and the training that you have received. I have goosebumps. And to start marching to the beat of your own drum, right? Okay, and helping others to see everyone like God sees everyone, right? Okay, the next one that we have here is big picture thinking, which is interesting. It falls under the guidance, right? Pleiades in energy, being a visionary and inspired ideas, just as I was speaking about that, right? That rebel may have ideas, visions, etc., coming in from higher sources, Pleiades energy, right? They may be receiving guidance about some things to help humanity, and other people are like, what are they talking about, right? Not really sure about it. But what if they choose to start going with the flow and listening or seeing with the eyes of their heart versus having their ego go up? It's like, let's just go with the flow with this and let's see how this unfolds, right? As long as others are not being hurt, right? Others are not being hurt. Allowing someone to take that creativity that's coming in and to work with that. Okay, what else do we have under being true in messages? We have Star Keeper, cosmic ancestor, seed the light by staying grounded. Be true to yourself. So again, on this journey, we can be very grounded. And in the example that I was giving, let's just say the five people that are kind of still living life with all the programming, etc., right? But this rebel, even though they are a free spirit, there's a possibility that they could spend a lot of time in the spiritual realm, if you will. But this person that's in between would be more like a medium, if you will, because they're in between this person who's very much in their spirit. Think about when somebody says, reel it in, right? Like reel in your energy. So this one person is trying to help this person, let's use the word, come back down to earth, right? Come back down to earth so people can try to understand you, but maybe they're having a hard time getting this person to settle in. So they're trying to do the work. So what they're doing is they are staying grounded, but they're staying grounded in their human experience, but they're also tapping into seeing something that this free spirit is. They're understanding more. Because why? Because they've been they've opened the eyes of their heart. They're not closed-minded. They have expansive thinking. Okay, what else do we have here under the musician and one step at a time? We have the child of the cosmos. The intelligence of the universe lies within you. Isn't that pretty how I hold that up and it has the blue and then the blue clouds in the background there? Child of the cosmos, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. I'm going to actually read that one from the book, but before I do, I'm going to take one more card. We have all paths lead home. Inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. The free spirit. Doesn't this person look like they are, here, let's see, I'm not sure, there we go. Look like they're almost like they're dancing on the all paths lead home. Okay, I want to go to this child of the cosmos. Okay, so again, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. There's a mysterious force that governs all of life. An intelligence that tells flowers when to bloom, and the tides and the seasons when to come and go. That intelligence is within you too. It was there before you drew your first breath, and it will be there well beyond your last. It's the part of you that informed every cell what to do when you were in your mother's womb. It's harder to resist this force than it is to surrender to it. Earth is a planet of polarity and free will, and it's easy to forget that this intelligence exists within us. So often we become disconnected from this pulse of life and fall into the pattern of believing that we are separate or feeling that we need to go it alone. We can feel isolated as if we need to figure things out ourselves, to rely on our own strength, right? That would be paddling upstream, but we're being encouraged to flow, right? Because we are a child of the cosmos. You're being called to remember the intelligence that is within each and every one of your cells, to remember that you are a precious child of a loving, gentle universe, that you have access to all of the intelligence, the wisdom, strength, flow, and qualities there ever were or will ever be. And to remember that if flowers know exactly when and how to bloom, then you do too. There's an inquiry here. It's called a starseed soul inquiry. How can you surrender more deeply to the intelligent flow of life, right? What have you been fighting against? And you know, it's interesting because I think many of us at some place in our journey, we don't really feel like we're fighting against anything because it's what we have become accustomed to. And it's the idea that, you know, a little challenge is good for the soul, right? But when you are working to make progress, if you will, in your human experience for a really long time, you can become tired, right? And so then there's this thing where you start asking yourself, is this it? Right? Is this it? No, it isn't it. It's like there's more. And when we release, when we trust, and when we have faith, and we start to go with the flow, and we understand that the universe is gentle, loving, and kind, that beautiful things unfold when we move into this place of allowing, right? When we move and we focus more on our spirit than we are on uh, just the human experience, right? And of course, when we're here in our human experience, it is finding balance between uh, being in the spirit and in our human experience. So again, the that would be like cosmic ancestor, the star keeper, seed the light by staying grounded. Maybe I'll actually read that one as well. Let's see. Okay, so what it says is, you're the ancient keeper of the stars, here to anchor the seed of your light in a new way. You've likely been incarnating on Earth for some time, dedicated to the era of awakening and bringing out a long awaited shift in the planet's evolution. We're at a tipping point now. The survival of Earth and all of its species are coming to a head. The more grounded you remain during this transitional period, the more helpful you will be. The more you tend to the flames of your own heart, the more love you'll anchor into this planet. The wisdom of the stars is imprinted in your soul. The more soul fragments you call home, the more this wisdom is seated here. You may be called to be in different places in the world to anchor this light, perhaps by taking a trip or living in a certain location. You may also find yourself experiencing awakening symptoms. The more grounded you remain, the more stable Earth's energy will become, and the less reactive humanity will be. So it will be more responsive versus reactive. You're here for a double mission: to grow as an individual, as the part of the larger collective that's bringing about the shift in frequency. Trust that you can be in the world, but not of it. and lead a truly glorious life, right? In the world, but not of it. So, okay, lovely message. There is one other card I wanted to bring forth from a deck here, and it's called The Best Year of Your Life. Let's see. I did not have these ready. Let's see what wants to come through here. All right. These are very big cards, so I am just going to, I'm going to just put these in my lap and kind of shuffle these because my desk is full. Let's see. I think I'm just going to, okay, I'm just going to take this one here. Interesting. Become the person that you want to be. I realize that I have two and everything is always works out like it's supposed to, so I'm going to set this other one down. Become the person you want to be. Whenever you admire a quality in someone else, whether it is their strength, style, determination, or creativity, you can be sure that this quality also exists within you. It could be hidden, latent, or undeveloped, but every trait you admire in others exists in seed form within you. So if you want just to discover your greatest self, all you have to do is notice whom you admire. This is the idea of taking someone out to lunch that inspires you. Who do you admire? Who inspires you, right? By identifying the people in the outer world you're naturally attracted to, you'll find the parts of yourself that you are ready to be developed and expressed. And when you take actions that nurture these hidden qualities within you, your self love will soar and you'll become the idol of yourself. On the backside, it says your self-love assignment is think of a person you love and or respect, someone who excites you, turns you on, or lights you up. It can be someone you know personally or someone you admire from afar. Next, identify 3 qualities that you appreciate the most about this person. For example, if this person is organized, passionate, healthy, successful. Finally, begin each day this week with the question, what action can I take today to nurture each of these qualities within me? Identify one specific action or practice that you can take every day to express each of the traits you admire and take that action. Watch as you begin to display the very qualities you admire in others. Very beautiful. Okay, let's go to the next one that came out. It says the power of choice. Most of us have lost sight of the relationship between our choices, our actions, and our outcomes, and the outcomes we experience. But our lives, as they exist right now, are the result of every choice we have made up to this point. The choices we make today, tomorrow, and every day this year will either keep us stuck, repeating the patterns of our past, or they'll move us powerfully toward the best year of our lives. By becoming responsible for the choices we make, we take our destiny into our own hands, right? The word that's coming to me is destiny choices. Destiny choices. What destiny choice are you making for your life today? Okay, on the other side it says your self-love assignment is reflect on an area in your life that you'd like to create a different result. Write down exactly what you'd like to change in this area. Now make a list of all those choices you've made in the past 12 months that were in direct opposition to the fulfillment of this desire. Allow yourself to see the choices you've made that disempowered you. So you're observing those decisions. Don't be hard on yourself, just observe them. Again, they came from a place of fear and that you are unconscious or self sabotaging. Finally, identify 2 choices you can make this week that will move you closer to the result you desire. 2 destiny choices, right? Towards the result you desire. Now, it happens to be November 22nd as I am recording this. Oftentimes people create vision boards, right? Nearing January. This is a good time to kind of start thinking about that, the areas of your life, right? Different areas. And even though you might create a vision board near, January or something, now is a really good time to kind of just sit with and think about and develop that. Um, Whether you start mentally, you start writing some things down, shifting things around, and imagining. First, we have to imagine, we have to think what we'd like our lives to look like. And then what action steps are we taking to that today to bring that into fruition? Again, everything starts in our thoughts. So it is thought, action, and then we have a result. So I think this turned out to be a beautiful message. Again, the biggest message here was unconditional love, inner beauty, and opening the eyes of your heart for yourself, having compassion for yourself, right? Being true to the self, and also seeing others and just honoring them wherever they are at on their journey. I want to say thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great day. Take care.